Hi everyone, welcome to the session of engineering drawing. In this session, I would like to discuss the basic definition of a cycloid and also how to draw a cycloid of a given circle having a certain radius. Cycloid is nothing but it is the path traced by a point lying on the circumference of the circle when the circle moves along a straight line without slipping. Generally, the cycloid can be drawn for one complete revolution. Here, I will show you a small example. I am considering this as a circle and this is a point. So, consider this as a point, initial point, and I am going to trace the position of this point as the circle rolls on this straight line path. The important point that we should remember is the circle should not slip while having the linear motion along this scale. So first of all, I am moving this slightly through a distance. So now the point comes here. Initially it was there. Initially it was at this particular point. And when it is moved further, this will be the new position. Like that, if you go on moving the circle, the point also will trace its new position. Like that, we have to consider the number of different positions. As we consider more number of positions, we get more exact. Like that. So this is one complete revolution, and when all these points are drawn or joined, with a smooth curve, the path traced by this is the path traced by uh, this point lying on the circle when the circle rolls along a straight line without slipping. So this is known as cycloid. I hope that you understood the definition of a cycloid. Next, let us go through how to draw this for a given radius for a circle. Let us consider a problem. Here we have to draw the cycloid for one revolution of a circle having a radius of 30 mm, and we have to also draw the tangent and normal at a distance of 40 mm from the baseline or reference axis. So as a first step, what I do is, this is the circle which is drawn having a radius of 30 mm, and we need to draw the path traced by this particular point A for one revolution. For one revolution, the length which is going to be moved by the circle will be equal to the perimeter or the circumference of the circle. Hence, on the reference axis, I am going to consider a length of 2 pi r, which is the perimeter of the circle or the circumference. I am going to consider different positions of the points. So in order to consider that, I am dividing the circle into 12 equal parts. So that means to say that I am considering 12 different positions of the point A as it moves along the reference line or baseline. Here, as the circle moves or rolls onto this particular axis, the different positions of the point A1 will be traced on the reference axis as 1 dash, 2 as 2 dash, and 3 as 3 dash, 4 as 4 dash, like that. So that is the reason why we have to divide this perimeter line also into 12 equal parts that we have divided uh, the circle. These things already I have done. After these basic steps are over, next we have to draw the central line. As the circle moves, the center also moves from one position to another position. So I am drawing the center line of this particular circle. This is the center line, and after that I am erecting the different positions of the center from the reference line from 1 dash to, so when the point moves 1 to 1 dash, we are going to have, this is the next position of so initially this will be C, and here this will be C1, and when the point comes to 2, like that, this will be the new position of the center C2, like that it goes on. This will be C3, C4, 5, C6, C7, C8, C9, C10, C11, and C12. So let us name this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So after that, with the same radius, okay, before that we have to draw the parallel lines emanating from this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and so on. For that, say this is so here 1 and 11 will be in line, and 2 and 10, and 3 and 9, 4 and 8, 5 and 7. The next one is with C1 as center and radius equal to this much. Next, consider different centers C1, C2, C3, C4 and so on up to C12, and we have to mark the different positions of point A along these horizontal lines. First, with respect to center C1, first cut this one and say this is point P1, and next with C2 as center, cut this one, say this point is P2, and next with C3 as center, to get point 3, after that C4, get point P4, C5, to get P5, and C6 for getting P6. Similarly, we have to repeat the same procedure for getting the other points also. P7, P8, P9, 10 and P11. So I am locating the points here. This is P7, P8, and this is P9, P10, this is P11, and this is P12. And when all these points are joined carefully, we are going to have the cycloid. We have to join with a smooth curve. P7, P8, so this is the smooth curve. We have to make as smooth as possible in order to get that. Okay, that is how we have to draw the cycloid. And after that, we are also given an additional task. From the baseline at a distance of 40 units, we have to draw the normal and tangent. So this is the baseline we are going to have, and from the baseline 40 mm. So this is the point which lies at a distance of 40 units from the baseline. Let us consider this point as say some P. At this point we have to draw the normal. What we have to do is, first with the same radius, that is we have constructed the circle, we have to cut the center line and name that point as some Q. From Q we have to erect one perpendicular onto the reference line. We get the point S and join S and P to get the normal. So we have to join S and P to, this will be the required normal. And to this normal we have to construct the, we have to draw a perpendicular line in order to get the tangent. That is how we have to draw the normal and tangent to this particular graph. This concludes this session. Hope the things are clear to you. In the next session I shall deal with involute, the definition of involute, and also how to draw the involute for different shapes. Subscribe to my channel for getting more updates. Thank you.